And we are live. What is up, nerds? Welcome back to another Wednesday night live with the aggressively average anglers, doing some aggressively average research at the last second, diving into some kayak motors tonight. We wanted to make sure that we had all the details pulled up, right? So I've actually got all the web pages for the main kayak motors that we're going to be looking at tonight. And I'm really excited to share some of this information with you guys because this is going to should I say it, segue into a video series that we're going to be doing this year. So we are going to get, if not all of these, most of these motors, I would say, Paul, is the plan that we're going to get a good chunk of these motors. We're going to install them on some kayaks. We're going to go out, we're going to test them, and we're going to give our feedback on all of them. That would be the goal, right? So, however many we end up getting remains to be seen. We are talking to a few of these companies. They've been really cool. They got some cool stuff in the works that they're putting together for ICAST this year. So I'm sure we won't be hearing about it, or if we hear about it, we won't be able to tell you about it until ICAST when it all drops. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited to go fast, Paul. Are you excited to go fast?
I'm excited to maybe unlock like a giant lake that we would
Which lake would
normally
that
not
be?
go to, like St. Clair, and potentially have the
Mm,
ability to actually fish it, not just like cursory, like, sort of get after it. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm also excited to tinker and I've always been curious about like, what
yeah,
does 5 miles per hour feel like for 45 minutes? Like,
yeah,
would I maybe just like get rid of my pedals entirely, or would I like use one of these and like,
right,
there's so many different versions. Like, I'm just really excited to like actually really understand what it actually feels like, so I can explain it to somebody in a real
right,
way, not like you will go faster or you will go further. Like, I would like to actually be
yeah,
able to like help other people understand what you're actually dealing with, because this is
totally.
doubling the cost of your kayak.
Wow, I agree. I just zoomed in for those of you who are
I was like,
listening.
"Oh, hi, here we are."
So we will do some screen share on a few of these websites. There's a visual component to this, obviously. So if you're listening afterwards, you can just go check out these websites. There's a couple of specific motors that we're going to be going over tonight. I'll just give you the quick preview before we dive in. But we're looking at Torqeedo, specifically the 1103 AC. That is their bigger ultralight motor. They do have a smaller ultralight motor, from what we've heard. They're moving away from it. It's not confirmed nor denied. I have no idea. Then we got Newport. We're going to be looking at the NK300. Really, we're looking from the perspective of what would we put on the boat. The 180 is also great, another option out there. So Newport has a couple, and it sounds like they're going to be dropping some new products this year. So I'm excited to see what innovations they have. Also, shout outs to Scott Vermonter, who got his prize package from our members only live. You're welcome, brother. Hopefully you enjoy it. And if anybody else wants a members only prize package, they just got to be a member. So you can click join and learn more about that. So those are like the bigger models that we're looking at, the Newport Torqeedo. A lot of people know about those, right? Somewhat lesser known or smaller, lighter, somewhat cheaper. Typically, other motors that exist would be if you look at the Bixby, right? So we actually have a Bixby. We have it. It was sent to us by Bixby. We've already coordinated things with them, so we have that. It is the K1 kit, so we have the entire kit, and it comes in a little laptop box. It's great, and we've got the mounting hardware and all that stuff. And we're gonna do a fun little trip where we like put this on one kayak, motor around maybe in the river for a little bit, and swap it out later on. That'll be cool. And we want to see how easy it is to install, reinstall, like move yak to yak. How fast can we do that? So that'd be one of the tests that we do. And then we're looking at Texas Power Paddle as well. I don't know if you guys have heard about these guys. They've been ramping up. They make some rudder and Guardian Shield specific, which is a Hobie thing, right? But they make some different adapters where you can attach a motor to your rudder. If you have a steerable rudder, there's a universal one and a Hobie specific one, and then they have a Guardian Shield specific one, which is the little transducer mount underneath the Hobies, which is cool. It just kind of like flips down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about that. So we'll look at that a little bit later. And then, of course, everybody's got to call out the bow mounted option. So you can really take any bow mounted trolling motor and you can pop it on a kayak with a specific plate. The one that comes up most often in conversation is the Motor Guide XI3. So we're going to look at that as well. what we want to do tonight is we want to call out the pros and cons of each of these different models, the weights, the estimated hours of battery life, etc. How fast can you go with these? All that stuff. So that's where we are going to get into tonight, and I'm excited about it. Before we do all that, real quick, if you guys want to support the show, options to do so. You got membership, and you can also always do super chats. We love you guys, and we love the support. You guys are helping this channel move along. And Paul, I don't know if we should talk about this yet. Should we? It's coming up in February.
We
Was the
100% should.
plan?
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
talk about it. I was actually hoping we could do a vote
Oh, to vote on who we work
between
with?
the two
Okay.
that we're talking about.
All right. So for the folks in the room right here, and for any of these folks not in the room right now, where the heck are you guys? What are you guys watching Monster Bass live?
Where are you?
Get over here. So we'll just put this out. We might have to redo this at the end of the show once Rick gets off the air and
Yeah, we could do it
people
later.
migrate.
I'm gonna put
over.
it down at the bottom. Yeah.
Okay, so we do have an idea. What we want to do is a little donation drive. We haven't done one in the past year or so. We've done some very successful ones previously with autism anglers. We've also worked with the Dana-Farber Foundation for cancer research, which was really cool. So we want, again, to have the good feels and do some positive things in the world. So we'd be leaning on you guys to help us out with that. Support these foundations. Let's raise some money for something good. We'll vote on whether that's, I think we're between autism anglers right now and Dana-Farber Foundation, and it's honestly the most difficult decision in the world. So you guys have to decide for us. And then at the end of the day, what we would do is what we've done in the past. We get some fun guests on here, and we're going to do schmivaways like all night long. Basically, just if we hit certain numbers of donations, we're going to do a schmivaway, and like somebody randomly in chat will win a whole bunch of tackle. We've done it before in the past. If you guys haven't seen those lives, they exist in our live archive. So you can go check them out, see how that went. I think the last one we did with like Debo and Gramps, and
1800, right around there.
was that for the Dana-Farber?
Yep.
We did that one. And then when we did Autism Anglers, I think we gave away like 20 packages on that one.
We did.
Remember that?
Yep.
So it's pretty nuts. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, we hope that you guys can help us out and we can do something really cool there. So let's vote at the end of the show once the folks migrate over from Monster Pass Live. Other than that, let's just dive right in, shall we?
I'm ready. So
Okay.
we have Q of the D. What foods are on your absolutely do not eat list? And I don't mean like, something
like
that's
it.
not actually food, like something that you could get at a restaurant. Like what's a food that like is just like, you know what, like I'm not gonna eat it. Because for me, my list is so I can only think of one thing that I'm like, yeah, well, I just won't eat that. Like I'm straight up, I'm just not gonna. I would leave it on the plate.
That is really tough considering we're both technically garbage disposal units and therefore would eat
my
everything.
main function. It says it right on my birth certificate. But there is a food that I will just not eat. Not gonna do it. If it's on the plate, I'm walking away.
If I'm thinking of something that you can get at a restaurant, I can't think of what yours is, nor can I think of what mine would be. So
you don't have a single food that you're like, yeah, I'm just not gonna eat that.
Not really. Name yours and I'll think of one.
Boiled okra.
What restaurant are you grabbing boiled okra at?
Any southern restaurant.
I'd eat it.
So my grandma's from the South, and my mom and my grandma used to make okra, and they boiled it, and it's horrific. It's
horrific. They ruined you for it.
No, I mean and so my mom was the type of a mom. She would sit you down and she'd be like, "No, it'd be 3 a.m. Your head's hitting the table. You're dead." And she's like, "You don't leave until you finish whatever this is." And the only time I ever won was okra, and it was god awful. And I just won't eat it I'm never gonna do it. And I see it frozen, and it literally makes me gag when I walk by it. I'm like, ugh. Like if I see it in the frozen food section, I'm like, ugh. And there's like foods that I'm like not a fan of. I'll still hammer them. I'll just eat them as fast as possible and just get through it. It's not really a problem for me. That is a food that I will legit just not touch. Will not. You can't put. There's not enough chocolate. There's not enough like cinnamon. There's cheese even. Not gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't think I've had
I can smell it right now, and it's making me go.
Can you?
Yeah. Horrible.
That's awesome.
What's a cinnamon bear?
What is a cinnamon bear?
It sounds great. That doesn't seem like a problem.
I dropped one hang on. 'Cause
So,
I
what do we?
dropped one last winter in the driveway, and it looked
What?
the same in the spring after the thaw. I don't know what a cinnamon bear is, but sounds gross.
I'd eat it.
Will travel to fish liver. I would eat liver. Where
I've
did
eaten liver many times. I've eaten the chicken livers. It's not a problem for me. It's
yeah,
good.
what restaurant
I like it.
do I go to for that? Because I actually kind of want some.
Oh, you could
Uh
get that at, like, a Mitchell's Fish Market. You can get that at, like, chain restaurants.
okay, this is not allowed.
Absolutely. Why not?
No, no, disallowed, not
I would
happening.
do it. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
Especially because you said sushi. Like, if I know I can, like, get some fixins on it, we're good.
sushi all
Yeah.
day,
Sushi's top
all
tier.
day,
Yeah,
all day.
100%.
Baked beans, beans are great. Beans are fantastic. Ooh, what is Chaw's blood pudding? Get out of town. Where are you getting your blood pudding at lately?
I've had the old blood soup.
Yeah,
Great.
it's
That
great.
blood soup's
It's
good.
delicious. This is
Full
what
of
I'm saying.
shrimp.
Like
It's not a problem for me.
I can't think of
You
one.
can't think of one thing? Really?
Uh-uh. No.
Wow. Good for you. You never had a horrific bad experiences I've even gotten over. I used to not be able to eat
Yeah,
oranges because the texture was so weird, I, like, couldn't swallow it. I could
really?
chew it until it was just the pulp, and then I'd spit it out. I got over that. Not until I was,
That's
like, an
so weird.
adult. I think I was an adult. Yeah, I was, like,
You-
in college, and I was like someone left an orange out, and I was like, "I wonder if I can do this," and I ate it, I was like, "Oh, these are really good."
That's such
I
a
know.
weird thing.
I love these.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
orange dude,
awesome.
the texture of oranges freak me out.
Now, if you were like, what alcoholic beverages can you no longer drink or do you avoid? I could have answers
I
for that.
avoid all of them. I avoid them all.
But like for food, nah, I can't think of one.
You don't have a bevy? Which one can you not? I can think of one that might be a problem, but I would still do it.
Uh,
Rumplemans.
Rumplements. I've had enough bad
I've
times
I've
on.
had I've had experiences at the bar, like, been served, unserved myself right at the bar and been like, "I'm fine. You're fine. I'm good."
I'll see myself out.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Jim Beam because I had an
Oh,
experience with that.
yeah, yeah.
Rumplements, I'd be with you on. I've had enough experiences with blackberry brandy, but like
Oh,
also
I love it. Still
at the
good.
same time, my
Still good.
body is just like, no, you're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fine.
Every pour is like, "Get it out."
Yeah. It's like, no, you're fine. You
It's
can
like
handle this. The
I
same
love
thing,
it.
like I don't know, scotch to an extent.
It's just gross.
Really
It's just not good. We should all
peat
just accept that
mossy
it's just not
scotch.
good. I don't think,
Yeah,
like, dirt water is something we should sell as good. That's just not.
if it's peat moss flavored, I'm
I like
out.
watching middle-aged dudes pretend that they like scotch. It's priceless.
It, it's
Like, "Oh, I love scotch," and you're like, "No, you
it's
don't.
late
You hate it.
20s.
What are you talking about?"
You hit your late 20s, and you're like, I'm mature now. You're like, give me a two finger pour of scotch, please.
You
I'll
idiot.
enjoy that.
It's gross. Just stop.
All right.
Heckman Roberts, no, good scotch just tastes more like dirt. I think you've not had good scotch. I think you've had crappy scotch that you think is bourbon.
I've had good scotch, and I was not a big fan.
It's like, okay, this is just
Yeah.
very dirty. No, thanks.
This is also a no thanks for me at this point.
Eh,
Like
if it was, like, the only thing you were gonna have for a whole night, yeah, I'd be like, "No." I did that at a bachelor
when
party when I was an adult, and I
yeah,
was like, "Well, that was dumb," but I had, like, 4 Gatorades, I was ready.
when you
'Cause
combine
that's
it
really
with
what it is, you just
everything
get
else,
dehydrated. You get, supremely dehydrated.
supremely
It's so awful.
love it. All
Yeah,
right,
less of a hangover from scotch because you can't drink it. Like, it's because I didn't have any.
all right, that's enough of that. Let's dive into some motors, shall we? Things that
Alright.
you shouldn't operate while drinking these beverages. Let's talk about motors, baby. There's your safety message here from
What's
the
up, Bruce?
aggressively average anglers. Please stay alive on the water. Thank you. All right. So kayak motors. Paul, what is a kayak
Yeah.
motor?
So there's, like, I mean, when I was looking at this and we were kinda putting the show together, I was like, "Okay, really," and actually, I was thinking about how we're gonna lay these videos out and kinda
Hmm.
speak to the value because there's basically 3 different types of motor or, like, motor
Yeah,
category that they fall into. So there's what I'm gonna call, like, the big stern mount, like, bigger motor that goes on the back of your boat that you have to bolt on and kinda stays there and lives there. And that
yeah,
would be the best examples, the most popular examples right now are the Torpedo brand and the Newport Vessels brand.
right.
Um, they are, we'll go through some of the pros and cons of prices, but that's like when I'm talking about like big motors, that's what I'm talking about. And then we've
Yeah,
got a second category. Well, let's go to the bow mount. So a
yeah,
motor that goes on the front those are at this point for right now, those are all trolling motors. The Motor Guide XI3 is the most popular one that we hear the most about, get the most questions about. There are,
Yeah.
there are others, and some are built in and not. But I'm talking about ones that you add on aftermarket. That's the one we're going to talk about today. And then there's another category that I feel like I knew about first, and that was the I'm gonna call it like the modular category. So this would be like the Bixby K1 or the Texas Power Paddle like Pro, their third
Yeah.
gen that we've been looking at. And these can be with different mounting options and different steering options and some other different types of things. These have like kits that can accommodate a lot of different kinds of kayaks, be mounted in unique ways, and don't weigh very much. So we're gonna hit each one of those 3 buckets. We'll
Yeah.
talk about pros and cons because that was the other thing. I kind of in my head when we were shopping for these and talking about how we're gonna do videos, it's like, well, we'll just get the big one because I want the big one. And then as I was kind of looking through, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like there's really a strong case to be made for these modular ones. And I personally don't like the bow mount. I will talk about that. I totally respect why people want it, and that's great. There's no wrong
Yeah.
answer. But I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't really. I'm not into that version. But yeah, I
I
was looking at the modules, like, dude, there's a lot of value
the
in that
modulars,
in
and
that
then
setup.
the Bixby is almost a separate category in and of itself, where it's like this ultralight portable. Like you can toss
So is
that
the
sucker
Texas.
on anything.
That
If you do
Texas
the
one is the
universal on
same way.
this,
Yeah,
you
because
just gotta
you
swap a
it
rudder out.
if it has a rudder, but I'm actually kinda thinking I might mount one using the Bixby equipment. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be that hard. All you just do is use a clamp instead of screws. It'll work just fine. So I'm kinda
Sure.
like, I really yeah,
Same with this, what
yeah,
Feather Outdoors is saying. So
yeah,
Feather
yeah.
Outdoors, I have this exact thing in my basement. So leaning up in some of our videos, you might see it in the bottom corner. My dad gave me his old 30-pound thrust Minn Kota. Or is it it might be a Motor Guide. I think it's a Motor Guide. I barely looked at it. He was like, here you go. It's been sitting in my basement for 20 years. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna use that. So we also have that, and that will go into one of those videos. Like you basically go with that bracket that sits behind the seat. That way you have control, so I can actually, use the motor the way
Mhm.
it's supposed to be used. So yeah, we're gonna do one of those. We're ideally gonna get the Newport onto one of our boats. We want to get a Texas Power Paddle on a boat. We got a Bixby already. We just got to put it on a boat, and it actually can go on several of the boats.
I wanna get a Torpedo really, really bad, but
I would love to.
I haven't been able to get a hold of anyone that
Yeah,
works at the company. I'd really liked to, but I
we're
just
getting
don't.
the cold shoulder, baby, from
Well, I don't
Torpedo.
think they're, like, intentionally doing it. I just don't think
No,
that they work with people like that maybe.
no,
But I would
and that's fine.
really maybe we should go to I just don't know anybody that really works at them either that I have, like, a good relationship with. Although I would really it's gonna be a honestly, it's a blank spot on this video.
Yeah,
And it's still bothering me. Chad Hoover is actually doing some stuff on this. You guys should go check that out. So he's doing
yep.
New Canoe Newport versus Torpedo. So I'll be watching that video certainly, and he's doing some content around that. Like literally today, he dropped some stuff. So I'm curious to see what he has to say because he has a lot of experience with both. He's
Yeah.
mounted them on multiple kayaks. He has both. So
And we're gonna be
I'm interested
newbies
to see
to
what.
it.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
that's the great thing about AAA is that like when we do something like this, like there could have been 58 videos out, but there's not that many of them where it's like, oh, I'm literally doing this
as a
with the
normal
attention of
human
like as
man
a normal person who's maybe not good at everything or good at anything specific or even just good
or
in general,
anything.
just an average dude, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this like for no reason other than I just like doing it. So we still get to make whatever videos we want, which is
yeah. An option potentially lowest on the totem pole right now is buy the Torpedo. Maybe we can find someone that has a used one they're willing to part with. That would be awesome.
sure.
Or
Yeah.
if anybody knows anybody that works at Torpedo, or if Torpedo, you're
Or
out
if you
there.
honestly, if you know any
Hey,
content creators that work with Torpedo, I'd be willing to, like, reach out and see how they got a
right.
hold of somebody because I just don't know anyone that other
Well,
than Jeff, so you know,
we were gonna talk to Jeff Little, but Jeff Little is now with Boondocks. So
maybe we
he's
should just ask him if he's got, like, a contact.
I did do that. I thought I did. I don't know.
Yeah,
We
we should
we'll
give
hit
it a
him up
whirl.
again.
He
So
just said, "No, I don't work there anymore."
well, that was pretty much how the conversation
Yeah.
went. Because we were gonna ask, hey, could you connect us with anybody? And he said, hey, I'm not there anymore. I'm over here. And then he's been making a ton of Boondocks content. I don't know if you guys follow the little stuff. Is it the little stuff? Yeah, little
The little
things.
things.
All right. So Jeff Little's channel, Little Things, go check that out. He's putting out a ton of stuff of that. He also sent us the new Boondocks console. So we do have that as well. So that is going to go on, I believe, my old town. I don't think we decided. You don't like it. I don't think it's your vibe. So I'm probably going to end up using
Not for me.
the
No, Jeff
Boondocks
will use it.
crossbar.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a bar that's in a really inconvenient spot that doesn't serve for in my opinion, doesn't serve a purpose
it's where our H
that
rail
I have.
is.
Yeah, but and I've never liked it. I actually just saw it naked and I was actually looking at it like, "Oh, I basically made the same thing, but I can use H-rail accessories on it."
Yeah,
That's really cool actually, but
yep,
except I have nothing that I would want there except for
yeah,
like a cell phone or a camera mount,
right,
which is what everyone has. They have a track up there.
yeah.
Like you don't need that. And I see him doing a lot of other things, but those are just basically none of the things that I do with that part of the boat. So it's just for me, I don't like it. I totally it's a good
I'm
idea.
excited
Not
for
for
it.
me. You should be. Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah.
So I plan on using that fully, and then well, I guess the graph will go up there, obviously, but then I'll probably put like a phone camera mark or camera mount, whatever. So we'll play
Yeah.
around with it.
Well, and it's good. He's resting rods up there and he's got some other things that he does with it. So totally makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll play around with it. At any rate, currently, like I said, we're on the market to try to get the Newport and the Texas Power Paddle next, and then our goal would be, can we find somebody at Torquedo? That'd be super great. And if you guys know anybody, just hit us up on Instagram.
Instant
Uh,
grams.
instant
No, that's
grammars.
just my kitchen. Unlimited graham crackers. You say the word, we have them.
Instant grams, please.
Man,
Yeah, just DM us on Instagram. All right.
for graham
So
crackers.
let's I'm gonna go ahead and switch to a screen share, shall we?
Uh, yeah, Julie, this is the coolest sweater ever. So, Achigan, that
It
is French for smallmouth, and yeah, they have a whole bunch of stuff. Check out this sticker. This is their slogan is the official brand of smallmouth bass, which I think is incredible.
love it. All right.
So cool.
You have to tell me if I'm sharing because I can't see us anymore.
I can see you sharing.
Yay. All right, let's start with the Newport, shall we?
Let's do that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about before we get into Newport. Let's talk about some pros and cons with like these models in general. So as you can
Hmm.
see, this comes with a mounting bracket, but it doesn't mean you can mount it to anything without some modifications. So some kayaks will need some kind of modifications.
Hmm.
This also does require some wiring because you can see, Jeff, do you mind going to that fourth picture of the controller unit?
Yep.
So you can see there's a controller unit that mounts to the side of your kayak. Well, obviously there's wiring associated with that. And then
Ooh,
you have some steering that you have to account for.
look at that.
And what was that?
I said, look at that. I zoomed in on it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it is gorgeous. There is steering. So it's not a tiller steer.
right.
And you basically
There
have
it
two
is.
options. You can either have like a handle down on the side of your boat that you use. So that requires the use of one hand, but then the other one has to manage the speed too.
Hmm.
So you can do it that way, or they have some foot pedal kits where you can actually just control the rudder with foot pedals, which is what I would prefer, and I
That's
think is
what
really neat.
we're gonna go that route. So I think it
Yeah.
was Innovative Sportsman
Yep. Yep.
make those a lot of aftermarket products like that. So that's the one
Yep.
that Jeff Little had recommended to us. So that's one we'll
Somebody just called out. I just chatted to someone like Three Rivers, Three Waters Kayak. They make the same thing. Literally
oh,
the same
we could
thing.
try both.
Cable. Yeah, I might have to. Anyways,
We're gonna need a
that's
couple, you guys.
yeah, so
So
it's
yeah,
but, like, the mounting and wiring can be a challenge, and it obviously adds some
yeah,
expense, because there is some installation required, and there's definitely some poking holes in the boat, which even with those mounting plates in the back, so,
yeah,
there is that you have to deal with. Also, these don't weigh very much, in my opinion, 33 to 48 pounds, with the battery.
yeah,
That means these units are somewhere in the 25-pound range on their own with all, like, with the controller unit and stuff. That doesn't seem like that much weight to me for what you get in return.
yeah,
And the kayak already weighs a bunch. Now, here's the thing though. Like, if you like this could put you into I need to trailer it. You know what I'm saying?
right. Getting it
Like
on
this
and off the water can become
it's
difficult at this
a
point. You may
lot
need to
harder
back it in.
and kayaks are supposed to be, throw and go, a little easier, lighter, faster, and you're just not that anymore. So you gotta get taken out of that category, but you're getting a ton. Like these go anywhere from like 6 to 8 miles per hour at like top range speed for
Hmm.
anywhere for like 30 to 60 miles. That's
Yeah,
incredible. I mean, that opens up so much water for you. So even if you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go motor out, 3 miles, 4 miles to a spot on Lake St. Clair. I'm
Right.
gonna fish that and I'm gonna come back. Like that enables that for you, unlocks that for you, which is really cool. Or if you're in a river system, you need to cruise way up and down. Like that's unlocking that for you too. So it's huge. They also have like Bluetooth enabled batteries that give you like
Hmm.
all this information and like they're really sophisticated high end batteries. You get the digital display with this and the Torpedo, so you can see how much power you have left, how much thrust
Yep.
you have, how fast you're going. It gives you all this information that really helps you utilize the motor to the highest extent. So they also, we were asking about quick release. They do
Yeah.
have that. DeBurley's asking about, is the battery proprietary? Torpedo does have a proprietary battery. Um, the
Newport doesn't, I don't think. It's just a
Newport
36
doesn't, but they
volt.
do offer a battery. It's a nice
Yeah.
battery, and it does have it's at a value. I think you're getting probably 200 bucks knocked off of an equivalent retail, and it does
Yeah.
come with all the Bluetooth stuff. So really, really cool. I like this. On the heavier end, I still think these are actually a value. These are the Torpedoes almost 3,000 with the battery, 2,899, and then the
Yep.
Newport is basically 2,150 between if you get the battery and the
Yep.
unit and then you may need to that's pretty much everything you need. So you might need to do some mounting or some steering or whatnot, but that so
It,
you're
it would
under
be all the
you're under
basic stuff.
3,000. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
under
So
3,000.
if you hop over the Torpedo, it's the same kind of story, but they're coming with the battery. That's the main difference. So you're paying 28.99. You get all the same stuff that you're kind of seeing with the Newport. Obviously, just Torpedo design versus Newport design. It's
Yeah.
got a little different controller, as you guys can. Oh, did it not switch tabs? It didn't. Sure, this
Nope.
tab instead.
There
There we
it is.
go. So you're getting all the same kind of like mounting hardware. You're not getting the steering setup, just like you're
That's right.
not getting it on the Newport. So you still have to do a lot of aftermarket stuff if you want to have it set up that way, which you should, because it's definitely the better way to do it.
No,
Here's
I don't know that that's true because you have to change your kayak in a really meaningful way that you would then later have to undo versus the other way. If I don't have that, I might, I don't have to do as much work. So I
hard
agree with you,
hard
but
disagree.
I
It's
could
gonna
see
be
I could
awesome.
I could see I'm not saying it's not, but I could see some other people preferring not to do that.
I'll throw it this way. If you have like my Old Town Big Water, it's already got line throughs through the hull for your
A
steering
paddle
cables.
kayak will have that.
Exactly. So it depends on what you put this on. And since most of those paddle kayaks already have like the stationary pedals, which is just for stability and
Exactly. Yep.
paddling, you just replace those with the Innovative Sportsman movable
Mhm.
foot pads, which is great. And Innovative Sportsman or Three Waters, you had mentioned. But ideally, with those, just as a side note, we want the angled foot blocks versus the flat foot blocks.
Yep.
It's something that we'll talk about in that video.
It's a
But
small, small thing, but it's a huge difference.
here's the battery. So this is the proprietary battery that you're going to see with Torpedo. So like this is the one you got to use. This is the one it comes with. Similar to when we reviewed the e-pedal from Old Town at iCast, they
Yep.
have a specific battery that you have to use with that. This is very unique. I mean, it's pretty
There's no
neat. It
specific
doesn't
battery for the Old Town.
for
It
the
comes with
e-pedal.
no, it comes with one, but I don't think it's specific.
Okay,
They,
well,
uh, they offer, I think, a fuse battery, and then I think you can
mhm.
get whatever one you thought you could get whatever one you wanted.
Nah,
That's
either
the
way.
only one. Yeah,
I'm not buying that. So we're just talking about this. So,
yeah.
but yeah, so here's the Torpedo battery. It's nice because it's got that little handle there that you guys can see. And yeah,
It's
I mean,
very small. It's
it
not that
doesn't
big.
take up much space.
No, it kinda would fit right behind your seat,
Yeah.
not laying down, like, vertically. It's pretty small.
Yeah. I mean, and you're going to see similarities in the setup. I'm excited to see what Newport's dropping this year. I haven't heard anything from
Nope.
Torpedo dropping anything new. And this has kind of been like their setup for some time. And you can also see here too, there's a 403 AC. That's the one Jeff Little said they were getting away from. I don't know, if
Yeah.
that's still true or whatnot. But yeah, the
Yep.
the 1103, Jeff Little said this is the one that's worth getting. So if you
Yeah.
were looking at Torpedo, this is where we'd point you. But there you go. So it's definitely on the higher end price wise.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know. I still want it. I still want
These
to
are
have
yeah,
one.
no, I do too. This is a German-made product, came to the US not that long ago, and,
Yeah.
they have a US
High quality.
base, of operations, but it's a quality product.
Yeah. Look at the cost of a replacement torpedo prop. Tell me, I have no idea. Is it
I'm
on here?
cool. I don't want to
I,
know.
you're gonna want to know. Would
No,
it be?
I want Torpedo to send me another one.
Yeah, well, depends on their warranty. That's another thing we'll get into when we get to those videos. But for now, let's go to the next one. So, I mean,
$100? That seems not expensive at all.
well, $100 in relation to you
Yeah.
paid $28.99 for the product.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For a prop, I can't I I need
I
that
don't think that's
cheaper.
too insane. I mean, it's not ideal. Let's be real. Like that
No, no, I
sucks.
think like $50 seems
But
like what I would have guessed. Like $50 seems what I would
yeah,
have guessed, but I'm assuming it's a super heavy duty, legit prop. For $100, that you know. Yeah, if the Newport's $30, then I'll certainly feel better about that. But if the Newport breaks 4 times and I have to buy, to my one Torpedo, I don't know.
yeah, durability remains to be seen. We'll have to like put these things to the test. Obviously, right? That's the
Newport N
goal.
Newport, I've, like, totally changed my mind on Newport, so let's go look at the Newport.
Okay.
I thought initially when we first saw it, I was like, "Oh, it's a knockoff." And I don't know if it was because of the color or because I just never heard of them, and that was, like, my
Hmm.
gut reaction, but, like, I
That's
was so
probably it.
wrong. Like, I feel like after talking with these guys and, them potentially releasing a new product here, but
Yeah.
this is, like, their first model, and it's a freaking banger. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo, this is not a not this is legit." I'm very excited. I'm super excited to see what's coming, and I'm actually really happy. Like, if I could have picked, I wouldn't have picked Torpedo after having that conversation. I would have picked Newport if I was gonna pick one to have on my kayak, not sight unseen, right? Not having
Yeah.
had one.
It seems like a mega value. And like I said, worst case scenario, if we can't get a hold of Torpedo, we'll just like steal one of Chad Hoover's clips and like put it in our video and be like, here's a Torpedo. And we'll put it up against
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we just get him on the phone and we say, like, tell me all your pros and cons of the Torpedo. And we just share that interview as a part of that video. And then we just go test out the Newport. We just go ripping around the lake. I don't know. We'll eventually see. So did
I
we cover the
mean,
pros and cons on these two though? I mean, the obvious one between the two, like your
I
Torpedo is
think
a higher
so. I mean,
price
for me,
point.
it's weight, wiring.
Yep, yeah. So when you're getting something like this, that stern mount, that rear mounted motor, you're gonna have more wiring. You're gonna consider aftermarket products like the foot steering. Yeah, I mean, those are all things that are gonna be a part of it. And then obviously wiring, added weight of a battery, all that other stuff is gonna come in mind. This is the heavier option. So let's look at the lighter option. Now, obviously, the heavier option, you're getting more power, you're getting more propulsion, and usually longer battery life. So you're going to go further, faster, for longer. And then if we switch it up, we go to, I guess we'll go here first, Texas Power Paddle and the Bixby.
Yeah.
Now we're stepping into what Paul was calling the modular setup. So if you guys check this out, first of all, can I zoom in on this? I can. Look at that. So this setup, these are just three of the options. They actually have an additional option beyond this, which goes in the Guardian Shield, which is just where you put your transducer underneath the Hobie.
In
Now,
terms
these
of
are all
mounting options.
in terms of mounting options. So these are all rudder mounted. Now they have a Gen 2, which is currently on sale for $9.99. This is the battery box. Okay.
$1,000.
Here's yeah, $1,000. Here's your motor, and you just bolt it on to your rudder, or I believe this comes with this rudder right here, and you would just replace it on whatever kayak you have that has rudder steering. That's specific. You got to have rudder steering. That way you can actually control this thing, or you can add steerability if you have a rudder and you have line throughs in your hull for steering cables. So you could do that. And then you look over at the Gen 3, they've made some changes to that. This is the XL. So again, it's now built into this rudder, which is pretty sick. And then you've got this Gen 3 Pro. So we'll look at what were we saying? The Gen 3 XL was what we were looking at, like right up the
Uh,
middle.
yeah, sure. It's got the same battery as the Pro. So that 3X and all the
Yeah.
Gen 3s have the bigger battery.
The main difference between this and the Pro is that they're saying ductless propeller, no worry about weeds. That's it.
Yep.
So this thing gets clogged more, is all they're saying. Otherwise, it's an 18.5 volts, 777 watt hour, and 42 amp hour.
42 amp hour.
Yeah. This is the Guardian Shield one. I just want to show this off. Look at that.
I don't
So
see
just
it.
bolts. Okay, there we go.
There it
So
is.
just bolts onto that Guardian shield. Looks like
And
that, and just kind of
and it
flips
flip so
down.
it just flips down. So yeah, there
Look
it
at
is. So that's where your
what
transducer would go though. So you are foregoing your
your deucer.
transducer.
Yeah,
That kinda I mean, it's totally rad, but
that's nuts, though.
Yep. It's so
Okay.
cool. Now, someone that's will travel to fish called out that these are um these don't have as much horsepower as like the
Oh,
big motors.
sure.
It's not
Yeah.
that's not a question. They're powered by less. So you guys saw that battery box? Jeff, you want to go to the battery box photo?
Switch over to the
Um
Pro here.
there's like
Yeah.
this case. It's got a couple switches in it, and
Hmm.
you just flip a switch, and
Yep.
boom, you're running. So the smaller batteries, than these other ones, and they are smaller props too. So that's
Yep.
the other thing. And I'm not surprised. Like you're not going to get as much power. So that's one of the cons. You
Yep.
also don't need as much money. Texas Power Paddle 3 Pro, $1,600. It's the most expensive one they make. Get the Gen 2 for 1,000. Bixby
Yep.
K1 kit's $1,300. But it doesn't come with the mounting hardware. So, you add another, we'll call it 250, 300, you got 1,600 to get the
Yep.
whole thing installed and done. Like, that's a lot less money. It also weighs a lot less. The other ones were in the 30 to 50 pounds. These are 10 to 12. Think about that.
That's
You're talking about
insane.
the difference between the max that you can bring onto an
Yep.
airplane versus probably what you carry in a backpack. So, I think they're way smaller, they're way lighter. Um, they're
It's a
way
different
cheaper.
it's a
It's just
different
and
category
it is.
altogether,
It's a
right?
different item. Yeah.
That's the way we got to look at it, because when Paul and I were first thinking about, hey, let's do some kayak motor videos, right? It would be the typical go-to video would be, here's all the motors, here's the best one, here's the worst one. And you can't really do that with these,
Mm-mm.
because they all serve different purposes. Like a bow mount's different from a stern mount. A stern with power, like looking at the the NK300 and the Torpedo 1103, you're getting all that power, versus a Bixby for portability, versus a Texas Power Paddle, which serves its own purpose and is just much lighter and more
Smaller,
affordable.
lighter. They're really
It,
cool. They
yeah,
you can put these on inflatables really easily, which I think is really cool. You can put these on a stand-up paddleboard. Like you can literally put these on anything. It's cool.
right.
And what I like about these is, and this was what drew me to both of these, and this is what drew me to Texas Power Paddle. One, the Texas Power Paddle works better on a Hobie than I think even a Bixby would. I want to see the battery difference. That's where I'm interested. But these really
Yep.
are designed to work well with Hobies. Now they will work for other things, obviously anything with a rudder, but I still think this is really neat. But the Bixby too, like either one of these motors, if I had, which
Yep.
I do, I have multiple kayaks, and only one of them may get a big motor. But maybe I didn't want to pay for the big motor. Instead of paying for 3 big motors or one
Hmm.
big motor, but then not being able to put a motor on something else, I can buy one of these motors, 3 different pieces of mounting hardware, and I can move the motor very easily from kayak to kayak. Like
Yep.
in a couple of minutes. So if I'm like, well, I got my river kayak, but then I also have like maybe a bigger pedal kayak, I can switch back and forth without having to buy 2 motors. They do the same
Yep.
thing, and it's not that hard to move. I just have to unbolt the mounting, boom, next one,
Right.
done.
A good call out for this too could be, yeah, you've got the proprietary battery box there.
Mhm.
Same with the Bixby. It's got its own setup with its box. Torpedoes, same setup with its box. If you have an issue, then you're relying on that company. It could sit there collecting dust until you get that. I don't know how the customer service is on all three of these companies. Maybe we find out. The major difference between all three of those and the Newport is it's not a proprietary battery.
Well,
You
and
just swap it out.
I would call this out though. Um, if you are running on a battery mounted setup,
Hmm.
any problem you have with it is gonna take you out of the game. It's not like a pedal where you can just be like, tighter bolt, new bolt, new nut, like
It's a wiring issue. It's
it's
a
like yeah, like
problem.
you got a problem. So it's just
I
a more
had that in
complex system.
Alabama.
That's just a risk that you
Yeah.
run with a setup with an electric setup because But
Yeah.
to Jeff's point with the setup, the other thing about the Bixby is a lot easier to set up on a um on a kayak that already has a pedal set up in it. So,
Right.
you may not be SOL. You maybe you'll just drop your pedal drive back in versus, a lot of people are picking these other setups on paddle kayaks. And if you're not
Hmm.
someone that's willing to paddle your kayak around, yikes.
Yeah, exactly. Like ideally, our consideration here is we want to put the bigger outboards on the paddle kayaks. So I want to jump back. I'm going to go backwards for a second because I think there it is. We'll travel to fish called out. NK 180 is a great setup. And it's at a slightly lower price point, about $300 less than the 300 is. To me, it's like I'm definitely going to 300, but
It's an insane value on the 180 though, and it depends on the boat.
it depends on your boat. It depends on your needs and what you want.
Yep.
So this could be a great option for you as well. It's got all the kind of same stuff that you could use as the 300 has at $999. Then you just gotta again, you still gotta buy your battery. So it's not $999 out the door. You're done. It's plus $829 or whatever you end up paying. Now this is a 24-volt setup, is what they're recommending here versus the 36-volt setup that you get with the NK300. It's a little bit different, but you can see that prop looks the same as that Texas power paddle that we were showing off just a second ago. And it says it tops out at +5, whatever, as light as you can go. Maybe you can break 5 miles an hour. So it's also claiming that it can go faster than Texas power paddle, which would make sense for its setup. So there you go.
Now, one
Something
that
else you could
kind
look
of
at.
yeah. Now the last option here is that bow
Well,
mount. So this
second to
was
last, because we didn't do Bixby yet. So we're going to switch over
oh
to
sure.
Bixby now. So here's the kit that we got, you guys. This is the Bixby K1 all-in kit. There's your battery. You get this little Velcro remote that you can keep attached to your person, life jacket, boat, whatever. And then here's the actual motor itself. Now, somebody called out. Where are you? I'm trying to find your comment,
I
people.
I would be
Oh,
shocked.
yeah, I would be shocked. Thank you. Just fishing. I would be shocked if the Bixby could push you up a river. Guess what we're going to try? Exactly that.
I actually don't I don't think I'm gonna be like hoofing it, but I won't be pedaling and I won't be paddling and I don't have a lot of fears here. It does kind
Yeah,
of depend on the kayak. I think on a 180, a big Hobie, I think you're gonna be going kind of slow. I think you're gonna be struggling. On a sleek, low draft, boat,
or a
uh, I
shoaly.
think yeah, or I think you're moving,
If I
like
threw this
the
on a
light tackle 2,
shoaly,
I think you're cruising,
I
honestly.
think you get some movement. I mean, you're not going to be blazing a trail or anything,
I'm not
also
pedaling and I'm not paddling.
but also we're going to put it to the test. And that was the other thing to call out with the Texas power paddle is if it's going 3 to 3.5, somebody said 3 to 3.5 miles an hour on say if we were still rocking the Hobie Pro Angler. Like that's max what you're getting. That said, when I'm hoofing it, when I'm pedaling all out on that
2.8,
Hobie,
2.9.
well, no, you can get into threes, but like you're sweating. You're
That's what I'm saying.
sweating profusely.
I'm
So yeah,
your thighs are dying.
your thighs are dying. So yeah, this whole setup with the Bixby, super light. It's inexpensive. I'm actually excited about this. Was a motor. I'll tell you guys
Mounting
my
options.
first. Well, they also have an insane amount of mounting adapters for literally whatever boat you can think of. So it's pretty cool to see that. This was the
There's like
motor
4
though that
pages of them.
I was like, I don't want this. That's what I told Paul. We were talking about it. I was like, why would we get a Bixby? What is the point of this? It's so slow. I actually tried this out. So they had this on the Lono Aero from Boat, BOTE, that brand, at iCast, and I used it. It's got a million settings on that little remote, a million settings. It just doesn't go that fast. I think the
Yeah.
problem was that I contrasted it, like my opinion of it was contrasted with having just gotten off of Jeff Little's Torpedo that he had on a light tackle 2. So I was ripping around on a light tackle 2, and then I got on a Bixby and I was like, okay, this little Sunday cruise is not friggin' worth it. And
Did
now
we hit 6? We went over 6 with that Torpedo.
with the Torpedo, yeah, we were at almost 7 with that Torpedo. It was nuts. And it definitely claims to be faster than the Newport, which is why I would love to get my hands on one so we could do a head-to-head with it and really check it out. But this motor, I was looking at, I think just for the wrong reasons I had that opinion about it. And now I'm looking at it differently. I think there's a value proposition here. I think that this definitely serves a purpose for a specific type of kayak setting that you're fishing in and a type of individual. And I'm excited to try it out now. I want to put it back to the test for sure. Okay. So that was We looked at the Bixby, Newport, Torpedo, Texas Power Paddle. I think the last one was the bow mount, right? So we'll do one more visual here. We'll go to the XI3. Now the XI3, it depends on the model you get. There's a bunch of different models out there. Look, New Canoe, Motor Guide XI3, they even have, oh, hang on. I have to keep switching tabs that I'm doing. Sorry. So there's a New Canoe one that you can get for like $8.99. It's still the same, like 36-inch shaft, all that stuff, 55-pound thrust, all that. They do also have a GPS one. That one will put, I believe it gets you spot lock. It's $13.49. They sell aftermarket adapters that can give you pseudo spot lock that you can put on different ones, and you can do that too. Yeah. What are your thoughts on bow mounts, Paul? That's what I want to know. I'm going to go to the XI3 page here. Obviously, these are on
I
boats.
feel like
They're
those
not
bow
on
mounts when
kayaks,
I'm
but
looking at these, I look the the weight is insane. Like 40 pounds, like just for the equipment, like nothing else. Like that's heavy, dude. The wiring is also a little more intense. And you know, you do get spot lock though. And then you are pulling yourself through the water
Mhm.
versus pushing, which I actually think is a huge benefit. And I think having that
There
much
we go.
electric power pulling you through is a big win. It also is like technically that you know you can really you could probably put this on more kayaks, I would think, just because of the amount of electronics involved, and you know everybody knows how to get one of these things mounted. It actually doesn't take that much, even though they're huge. I also think you probably lose some front hatch access depending on the kayak. Like once you get this on, like I think there's going to be some kayaks you just lose your front hatch, which I think is a miss. And it is, you
Sure.
know, it's middle of the road expensive, like, but you get spot lock. So I think that's a big seller for a lot of people, the controller unit, like the remote control plus spot lock. But for
Mhm.
me, it's out. I do not like these. I appreciate what they do, and I'm not saying they're not valuable. They're just not for me. I'm not interested in having one.
I am in the same boat. I feel pretty much the same way. I feel like if I had come in the reverse direction, where I was a bass boat fisherman rocking that XI3, and I was just really used to it, I might be more inclined. But I think if you just look at all the specs and the different options and how the kayak motor market, the electric outboards are really growing, it's like I don't know. I don't see the value in it myself anymore. So I don't know.
They
I'm
also
I'm
and
out on this as well. We're not going to
three
be
the
testing
hard
one of these.
three the hard way called out. Like that's a lot of weight right on the front of your boat. I'm
It's a
not
huge amount.
like you got to balance that out. Obviously, with a battery in your butt, which is
The
great, but
battery goes
like
way back. Yeah,
you know, when you like, I'm trying to like how many times have we walked to the front of the pro angler?
I
What,
wouldn't anymore
7, 10
because
times?
I can
Like,
tell you this right now. When I go to the front of my pro angler, this is the Hobie Pro Angler, super high weight capacity.
mhm.
I go to the front to grab my lunchbox. The water comes up through the drive every
Oh
single
god,
time. Imagine
really?
having this on there. Yes, mine does. Because I'm a big fat guy. So yeah, when I walk to the front, water comes up. I can't imagine with this thing on there,
Yeah,
if I
another
walk up
40
front,
pounds plus mounting equipment and battery. Ugh.
let alone if I'm in like a bona fide like this guy here, or this looks like a new canoe unlimited. So I mean he's probably fine. But he took the seat out of this. He's just sitting on a cooler. Check
Look,
check
I
this
appreciate it though.
check
Like
homie out
I
right
get
here.
this. And if you
Yeah,
have like one of those like
that's awesome.
really
All right,
like
we're done with
modular
this.
like kayak options, like
Uh-huh.
I totally would see someone trying to get this on there and be like a
Yeah.
permanent like flotilla. I get that. It's and they look cool and there's some
Yeah.
amazing, you know, folks like getting these on boats and, you know, making them work for them. So again, it's just not for me. I'm not saying it's not good.
Yeah.
And the price range is kind of middle of the road. It's not the most expensive and it's not the least expensive. So there's a lot of
Right.
value behind it. Again, it's just not for me.
New Fishing calls us out on the New Canoe Unlimited. This makes total sense. New Canoe Unlimited is what, a 650 weight capacity. It's a
Yeah.
freaking insane
It's
flotilla boat.
perfect. Yeah, for sure.
Super stable, gigantically wide beam. Yeah, you would be very sadified with that. And that is typically the kayak that we've had people call out. They're like,
The
get a New
Titan.
Canoe Unlimited, put an XI3 on it, you're a happy
Titan
boy. And I
X
was
is
like,
a big
okay,
one that, you know, it's built for it. So
yeah,
that's another one. And I think oh shoot, there was another one. Oh yeah, the Bonafides. They are designed to have, you know,
they've got a good bow mount setup.
they do.
Um,
So, you know,
the
some are
adapters
just
and
they're
whatnot.
ready for it. Again, it's just a personal thing. It's just for me, it's not what I was looking for.
Yeah, I think Native and Bonafide have done a good job with their mounting brackets. They've really
Oh,
stepped their game up, and Wilderness Systems has
you know
done
what I just thought
as
about?
well.
It kind of really depends on like how you want to fish too, and like what you want the motor for. I want the motor to like
Sure.
get to a place, stop motoring for the most part. Like I just want to
Use
paddle around and do what I
anchors,
do, pedal around, right?
anchors and
And
paddles. Yeah.
yeah, and then maybe just like get up, get up the river, pull it up, coast down, something like
Yeah.
that, right? Or get somewhere that I couldn't get before, that type of thing. The motor guide is more about like you might use it for transportation, but it's that may be
It's
not what you're using
trolling.
for it. You
It's
may actually like you're
yeah.
looking for like the best, most efficient replacement for while you're fishing. I could actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
It
that
has a
might be the
very
only
good
solution that
purpose
does
there.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the only thing that will, like, drag you to your spot, lock you down, let you fish, move to the next one. No
Right.
anchor, no muss, no fuss. Like, so while fishing, it's probably way more valuable.
No freaking way, Chris Shue. Get out of
Brother,
gosh dang town.
brother. Legend.
Thank you so much, Chris Shue, for gifting 5 AAA memberships. So I guess 5 members just got freaking hooked up.
What a beast.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
He's
Uh
gonna have to get a giveaway. That was ridiculously nice.
well, we'll just send Chris Shue directly something. How about that? Put it on the list.
Chris, what do you want?
We got you, bro. We got you. Um, all right. Apparently there was like a delay in audio 5 minutes ago. Sorry, Chaz. We didn't read your chat. We just kept
Nope.
rolling with it. Yeah. 3 the hard way. Beware of stumps. 100%. That was one of the cool things that we saw on the Torpedo setup that Jeff Little was rocking at ICAST was Innovative Sportsman makes a rock cage, and
Like
it's
a
just
brush
like
guard.
straight up just these bars that come down, and it would deflect all that cover
Steel.
from it's steel bars, but they would deflect the cover from your prop. And then of course you would have like your quick release. You can pull that thing up if you're like, oh no, I've run into things.
I'm hitting everything for sure because it's coming up. Yeah. Yeah.
Pull it up. Yeah. And then you could maybe save those props that cost $100 or whatever. That'd be neat.
Mhm.
Yeah, just what so there's obviously a lot to consider when it comes down to this. If we're just strictly looking at the price, we run back through this thing real quick. You look at your Torpedo, you guys are running $28.99, gets you a Torpedo setup all in the 1103 AC. The Newport, if you go the 300 route, you're at 2150. If you go the 180 route, you save $300 off of that. You
2150 for that setup, even if you have to add 4 or 500.
super
Oh
value.
my god. What
That's
the
a it's a
it's
massive
insane.
value.
That torpedo better be 10 times better. Like it has to be 2 times as good to compete. Like,
It remains to be seen. Like once we get in these
wow.
boats with these
What?
motors, the Newport would have to suck so hard that
Yeah,
like
it would have to be really
I'd be
bad.
like, you can't buy this. Because right now, everything that I know about it, I'm just like, hell yes, like you have to do
Well,
this.
and there's like professional anglers who are out there using these on a daily basis.
Exactly. So then we go to the modular stuff we were talking about, the Bixby K1, $12.99, all in. You got everything you need right there. Not as fast, but easily portable. Swap it out, do all that cool stuff. Texas Power Paddle, same thing, not as fast, super light, super portable, $15.99. And then if you want to go like Motor Guide, you're tying it into your current existing battery. Maybe you got to get a separate battery for that, but it's $13.49.
You're probably the $2,000 range for a
You got to
setup.
wire it, mounting hardware,
I'd
all
say
that stuff.
equivalent to the Newport. When you add in the battery, and then any of the mounting hardware, you're probably right around the 2,000, 2,100 price.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. DeBurley, AAA Hype Man calling out the bow mount 55-pound thrust with a remote is coming to him. Trans mount doesn't work for me. You can see it
On the attack.
come down again.
The
Oh,
ATAK 120.
got it. Okay. Yeah. Awesome, man. Can't wait to see it. Send us that finished product. I'd love to see what the setup looks like and how it's treating you. That'll be great. Yeah, for us right now, we're looking at the stern mount motors specifically. Like that's the deal. That's what we want. So when we do this video, you guys, videos, I should say, there will be multiple of them because we want to zoom in on each of these motors individually and just like really give a full perspective on it in one singular video. And then we'll come back and we'll do the lineup, right? So we'll come back and do that later. This will be happening at best. We're hoping for the spring would be great because we got to get all the motors. We got to wire them all up. We got to go test them out. We got to film it, all that stuff. But we're hoping that we can bring you guys some like just unbiased, unsponsored feedback of different motor companies, because you might see guys out there with these different motors and they're just testing it out because they work with a kayak brand that has it on there, like a PWR, for example. Let's say they're just rocking a Newport and like it's just because it was on there. Would love to just provide some feedback of, hey, we don't work with these guys and here's what we think about these.
I
So
think
if you're looking
too,
for motors, maybe that'd be helpful for you.
and just trying to figure out whether or not a motor is worth it, because I've kind of been like,
Yeah.
we've been toying with it for a long time. Like, well, should I do this? Should we not do this? And this was the year, just kind
Yeah.
of like with forward facing sonar. I was like, no, we're going in. We're going to try it. Like, we have to. We just have to. And I'm glad we did. I learned a lot. Changed my mind. No, it's awesome. But I would be interested too to see like, I would be interested to see if the same happens with the motor, where it's like now it's standard.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited for it. That's something that'll be coming up for us. So you guys can look forward to that. Obviously, we're currently in communication with a lot of these companies. So anything we can, any info we can glean, we'd love to share with you guys. Or if we know any products are coming up, we'll share that. We'll have unboxings of this stuff coming up as well. Like I said, I'm sitting on right now, we have a heck ton of accessories from Navarre. So we have a bunch of like Old Town specific accessories that we got hooked up there. Got a bunch of mounting plates for motors. We got the Bixby that we're sitting on, and we haven't done any of these unboxings or showcased any of this even on Instagram. So we'll be sharing a lot of that coming up. Now, we had promised a vote from the beginning of this episode, so I think we got to get to that. Here's the deal, you guys. Now that we've doubled our viewership for the night, we want to do a charity drive. We have not done a charity drive in a little over a year. I think the last one we did was for when Haley was running Boston Marathon. We raised money for Dana-Farber Foundation for cancer research, and you guys absolutely crushed it. So we're going to do that again. Now, what I want to put up, and this is like going to be a very difficult vote here, but Chaz, if we can put up on the board here for a poll, should we donate to Dana-Farber Foundation again? This is the last one we did, and this is cancer research. Or should we go back with Autism Anglers, which was the one before that? So Autism Anglers, if you guys aren't aware, because we talked about Dana-Farber already, is a great organization with fantastic people. Our buddy Don runs the whole thing. His son lives with autism. My daughter lives with autism. And we raised a ton of money for those guys. But what they do is they get kids and families with autism out on the water. They just get them out on the water. They get them fishing. They put a rod in their hands. They're like, let's do this. And then they have a great time. So it's a really cool organization. That said, love Dana-Farber too. Anything to donate to cancer research is, to me, always good when you know where the money's going. And
Dana-Farber goes like 100%.
Yeah.
And then they have somebody with like a really good story on there too. So these are people who are trying to raise money as part of like a team. I'm on a oh fuck off.
Your delay is so long. All right. So Paul was trying to say something nice about Dana-Farber, and then he just pieced out. So I'll just cheers to Feather Outdoors for the $10 super chat. Due to inflation, here's a few more bucks for another round of monsters. Thank you so much. And they will be green and purple because those are the only two colors that exist in our eyes. There's Paul. Paul's back. Paul's back. There he is. Hey, you. How you doing? You good, dog?
Platform that will just like work the ways that we need it. My God.
Nothing is perfect for us. Chaz, you want to share real quick in private chat the chat window for YouTube so I can look at the votes there, sir? Thank you. So once I can see what you guys are voting on, we'll check this out. But the way that I'll just give you guys details on how this would actually run. Thank you, Chaz. Got that. If you guys haven't been to one of our drives in the past, here's how they work. You show up, you make a bunch of, we make up a bunch of tackle boxes. Basically, just we're doing it right now. Paul has how many pieces of tackle?
500.
500 pieces of tackle. I will also have around 500 pieces of tackle. When I say pieces of tackle, that means like one hard bait or one bag of plastics, but there also are going to be tackle boxes and different things like that. So we put together a whole bunch of goodie bags, right, of tackle that we don't need and we want somebody to be using. And those are set up at certain tiers. So the more money we raise for said foundation that we go with, which right now Autism Anglers is massively crushing this at 79%.
There you go. Weird.
So
We asked a bunch of fishermen what they would want to see.
I know. We wanted you guys to help us vote. This takes the pressure off of Paul and myself. So what we do is like we hit certain numbers that we've raised, right? So if we hit $100, let's do a schmiv away. We hit $200, let's do another schmiv away. And if you weren't on any of our last ones, we usually do around 15 to 20 schmiv aways on a live. Paul and I've already committed. We're gonna reserve a few for our members only lives.
Some big ones.
If you guys haven't been to a members only live, we do big schmivaways on those. So those would be available to our members. You can click join below if you want to learn more about that. Help support the channel. And if we, on the regular live, when we're raising those funds, we'll be schmiving a lot of that stuff to you guys. So
there's so much tackle. I legitimately, I am down to I'm probably down 70% of what I had before in terms of like plastics and hard baits, and glide baits and everything else. It's insane. And so I'm excited to get it all out of here. The box is in Jeff's office. It weighs, what do you think, Jeff? 40 pounds?
Yeah, I carried it downstairs. No big deal. It was probably around 2,000 pounds. Easy deadlift.
Yeah. Did you just stop counting your push-ups too?
Full back. Yeah, I don't count anything. I don't weigh anything.
I don't weigh anything. No count anything.
Ask me how much something weighs.
I can't do math, and I also cannot. I do not do weights. I have no idea. I don't know.
I can't read.
I don't know.
Can't read
scale. But meanwhile, we're downstairs. Hey, do you have a very tiny scale? Oh, I have a food scale though. Can't weigh myself, but I can weigh a tomato.
It's not for me. It's for my wife's cooking.
No, for sure. Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
I don't use it, but if she's making
math.
bread,
I don't do that.
She makes when she makes bread, she needs a scale. That's what it's for.
Well, she can't just
one specific purpose. Just eyeball it. Get out of town. Yeah, no, it was pretty hefty, and I'm currently finishing up a box that I already have. There's a bunch of stuff in my office that I haven't schmived away yet. So there will be a lot, you guys. So you're gonna want to be at this one, and just to spice it up a little bit, we'll get some fun guests in the building, I think, as well. So
yeah.
The date that this occurs will largely be dependent on those guests.
We'll
just have to line them up.
What bracket should we do?
We should definitely do a bracket, but we should do like a just for fun bracket, shouldn't we?
I know, but I want to know which one.
Okay. Let's vote on a bracket.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a bracket the brackets. What do you say? Should we do the championship bracket that we've been talking about?
That's what I said when we were talking about it. And then you would get, sunglass hat versus Daiwa.
Let's take the top 4 from every bracket we've done so far and make a 32 bracket. Can we do a 32?
Oh yeah. Well, we'd have to do some more brackets, but yeah, I think we could do 16.
I think we're pretty close. If you took the top 4,
you need 8. So
how many brackets have we done so far? 6, 7?
Yeah. So 5, I think. We need some more.
Disagree. It's gotta be more than 5. I don't know. Whatever.
We can both look. It'll take 4 seconds. Watch.
I'll just make up a new top 4.
Doesn't make it. Okay. Well, that'll be helpful.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've done 6.
I was close.
But invariably, ipso facto wrong.
I said 6 or 7. Get out of town. Anyways.
You said 8. You're like, we did 8 for sure.
No, I said, let's get 32. You were like, we need 8. I was like, surely.
Well, we got that.
Surely we're there.
You're
okay, fine. So what? We need 2 more brackets between now and then?
Yeah.
Next 2 weeks are brackets then.
And then the 3rd week will be a bracket. Yeah.
Done deal.
We said movie franchises. So this could be like Dumb and Dumber versus Net.
Is Dumb and Dumber technically a franchise? Because there's 3 videos.
I said movie. I was saying movies. But yeah, we said like from top 10 franchise, like Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars. Versus
Harry Potter versus Back to the Future.
Scarface. I don't know. We'll pick Batman.
Batman. The Chris Nolan?
Yeah.
trilogy. All right,
Dude,
fair
this is
enough.
gonna be hard. I'm ready.
Yeah, this is difficult.
That'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one.
So here's the deal, you guys. Next 2 episodes we'll do some brackets, and then what that leaves us with is the ultimate bracket showdown, which will be where we take the top 4, the finalists from every bracket we've done, and we put them all together into a super bracket, and it's gonna be a blast because you're gonna have to vote on Hat versus Chris Nolan's Batman trilogy.
versus Christmas.
Best holiday bracket.
Yeah, that's right. Jesus's birthday versus Drop Shot.
Best of luck to you. Wow.
Flip flops versus all John Candy franchise.
So let's do this. We got Slow Rolling Thunder.
I'm ready.
People are what?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. People are already typing some stuff in here, so I appreciate that. But if anybody has like, we kind of already did this one.
We just did.
But if anybody has any ideas for brackets that are preferably fishing related, but not necessary,
fishing adjacent is fine.
Fishing adjacent bracket ideas, let us know. What do you want us to
Best fishing movies? River Runs Through It.
Go on. Name another one.
Deep Blue Sea fishing.
Do they fish with their bodies? Because I'm pretty sure that's all they did.
And they are the bait. What about? I mean, it counts. Finding Nemo.
Jaws.
There's Jaws was one for sure.
Jaws is closer than Deep Blue Sea for fishing.
They go and they try and get. What about where the guy from Ocean he dies because they were out fishing, and at the end it's a big wave movie.
What?
Why can't I think of this one? The Boston Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark dies on a wave?
Oh yeah, they all do. He's the second to last one.
Oh, Perfect Storm.
See? Big wave movie.
Big wave movie. There was a big wave.
Yeah, I think we could do
the ship was upside down.
Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men and The Great Outdoors all count for sure. See, we can do this. I'm gonna this should be the bracket that we do.
Okay. I'm gonna loosen it. I'm gonna loosen it up. It's not specifically fishing related.
Fishing adjacent movies.
Movies with boats is what it is.
Movies with fish.
Movies with
fish. I think movies with fish. Movies, no, not boats and fish, just fish.
I mean, if you look at the movies, they're gonna have both. How many movies have bank fishing only in it?
No, it wouldn't be that. It would be like.
Does an aquarium count? Does Finding Nemo?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. See what I'm saying? Finding Nemo 3, a lot less boats. So I think
you guys, there it is. We're doing movies with fish.
I got movies with fish.
I'm stoked about that.
Bracket series, movies with fish, and nobody logged in. No,
we did it. We finally did a 0 viewer episode.
So weird.
You guys better show up.
It's just Jaws.
Just come have
one viewer. So
what
about?
Okay, gotta do some research on fish.
What about Flipper?
Flipper counts.
Fish,
Free Willy,
and boat.
Free Willy,
sure. Yeah, for sure. Not that many boats. So
Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, both have to be on there. Fish. We'll come up with some ideas. All right, Slow Rolling Thunder. Let's roll on out here. So we voted on charity. Autism Anglers took the dub. We're gonna hit up. I will contact Don, who does not know that we were even talking about this.
I did tell Ethan about Don, and I told him to reach out because I was like, we're gonna give our money away there.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that. So we'll hit up Don. It sounds like Ethan do better fish anything. He's going to be maybe shipping some of his tackle because he did the same thing Paul does. So
he was like, "How am I going to get rid of this?" And I was like, "Well, for shipping one box, it's the most cost-effective way to do it." And he was like, "Oh, it's going to be like $100 shipping." No, it'd be like $150 in shipping. Jeff and I split that when we do this, and yeah, it's going to hurt. But that's like the charity part, other than giving away 75% of your tackle.
It hurts less than you think. I mean,
I'll be fine.
I'll be excited that some of you guys are going to be fishing with it, and some of the lovely folks over at Autism Anglers will have it. It's going to be great. So yeah, we're gonna figure that out. I will hit up Don. We'll get that put together, and then
fish,
Aquaman.
I like Aquaman. Fish, boats.
Fish, boats,
we're good.
Underwater submarine, future technology submarines.
We are good. Aquaman,
controlling fish.
Spot number
Sharknado.
4, Sharknado,
Sharknado.
100%.
We
Lots of boats, lots of
Yeah.
fish.
We're gonna take sequels out, so we'll just do Sharknado 1,
Okay.
and we'll also do
Alright.
Finding Nemo and not Finding Dory, but it's just one of the
Uh-huh.
two. Yeah, I know. Titanic has boat, but no fish that I'm aware of.
No, all the fish are on a plate.
Yeah, that doesn't
Fish
count.
can't be on a plate.
Yeah, they can't now.
Not for October. More
Atlantis?
submarines than boats.
Atlantis, the Disney
Goofy
movie.
movie.
Goofy movie does
There's
go
a
fishing,
boat
yeah.
and there's a fish.
There are boats and
The perfect
fishing,
cast. A
you
Goofy
guys.
movie. It has to win. I can't wait to post like winner of the movies with fish. A
Movies
Goofy movie.
with fish Oscar goes to. And the Oscar goes to
A
Finding
Goofy
Nemo.
movie. Oh my god, dude.
Terrible. All right. Moving on.
Really good.
Let's roll out of here. I feel like I could just read these comments as they're slow rolling thunder.
I know. All right, let's hit it. So I do have a couple questions. So
Okay.
you know how you get the combo, that you build it. Do you like to see the black and silver? Are you a traditionalist, or do you like the more aggressive combos, like more colors?
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking about like Dobbins. I'm talking about closer like proficiency, right?
Oh, not
Yeah.
really.
No, it doesn't have to be that, but something that's like way more flashy, like the
Yeah.
orange, the green, minus the fact that they're probably not as good at fish, just in general, that design. Do you lean that way, or do you like the what do you
Yeah.
like? What would you
Uh
prefer? Like if you could paint your own, if you're going custom.
Honestly, the loudest I would go is the way we did the AAA ultralight rod.
Yeah.
Like I like that in its subtlety. It's
Yeah.
like subtly aggressive.
Yeah. Yes.
I enjoy that one. So I wouldn't go beyond that though. I think I'm definitely more privy to just straight up
Mm.
basics.
I
I don't know.
really like somewhere in the middle. I
Yeah,
like the 13 fishing rod with that green band that goes like up the front of it.
sure.
Above the It's gorgeous. And I
Yeah,
really like the Cashin rods. They stand out. They're
yeah.
cool looking. I do not
The
like the
woven
favorite
pattern.
rods at all.
Yeah,
I just don't. I don't like the radioactive type stuff. The proficiency stuff, nah. But like I
nah.
could see I if they made like a cool version, I could see them making a version that I really liked and then like picking it up. And honestly, the Veritas rods, if the grips were just dark gray, I really like those. And I think they're kind of flashy too.
White grips is such a bad
White grips is
move.
such a fucking horrible move. And
It's
then
so
but when you
dumb.
combo that with like
Yeah,
the new reels they dropped, like the one that I got that's like silver, red, and black, I think that thing's a little bonkers and it looks good. I do not like the oh shoot, who makes the Black Max, the new Black Max?
yeah.
The
The
professional, the
combo.
pro yeah, the pro version that they have that's like
Uh,
black, silver, and yellow. I don't like it.
I like yellow. The Skeet
Not for
Reese
me.
models. I never
No,
liked
it's
this.
yeah. Those are kinda cool, but, like, it's just not for me. I don't like this too
Nah,
much. There is a line. I'm
nah.
probably more towards, like, the standard stuff, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kinda cool. I don't mind the white, like, not the grips, but, like, white rods I think look good, like the Ducket rods,
Silverado.
the silver rod, bro, with silver was pretty sick.
Silver red,
The
bro.
Triad the Triad's probably the most flashy rod I've ever had, and I
Yeah,
really like it a lot. It had, like, the black and gold and silver carbon woven handle, all white with the
yeah,
Triad logo in the same texture. That was friggin' sick, and I liked that was a good looking rod.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not big on the super loud rods,
Yeah.
or rod reel combos.
Anything past 7 out of 10, I'm like, no, I'm good."
Yeah, Chris Shoe, I had the Orange Crush for a minute till I sold it.
That's not the loudest.
It's not the loudest that exists for
The
sure.
Smash was horrible. It was bright red.
No, the Crazy 3 is the loudest. Like, let's be real. The
Yeah, okay.
proficiency
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
cra-
yeah.
bonkers.
I get the Burley's says the slick rods, they're black with the neon. That's what we did. I think those are cool. I
I like
like
a
those a
neon
lot.
accent. The accents are
Yeah,
lit. Like I love the
yeah,
accents. I wasn't sure how much I was gonna love ours. Originally, we wanted the whole thing painted, but then we
yeah.
were told by Will that that was a dumb dumb move that dumb
Who do you
dumbs
think
do.
makes the who makes the best looking rod? Because I think arc rods are gorgeous.
Sure.
Um, I don't know who
Uh,
makes the best looking rod. St. Croix, eh. I like the Legend series, that like bronzy with the teal.
St.
That's a
Croix is pretty top.
that's a
Though.
freaking good looking rod.
Best-
Ducket has like that bright blue. I think those are cool, but
I don't know. I've never
I'm
thought.
trying to. I think you know what? It might be Daiwa, the gray.
I could go with Daiwa or even Shimano. Shimano
The
makes a ton of
series,
sexy ones.
those are
Yeah,
freaking sick, dude.
yeah.
Those are good. They
Uh,
look really good. I wanna get a hold of some of the sick oh, yeah, the Phoenix ones.
I
Oh, the
wanna I
Mega
wanna
Bass.
get
Mega Bass probably is the most Jeff looking rod. They dude, well, no, the way that you like a rod that's, like, got
yeah,
some accents to it that's cool, that has, like,
yeah,
a cool logos, but it's all kind of very understated, and it's very high quality. I feel like that fits what you would if you were gonna make one,
yeah.
more what you would do.
If I could afford a Megabass rod,
None
I'd
of us
love
well,
to.
no one here can.
No one on this planet can. We just do it. We shouldn't be.
Yeah, it should not be happening. Alright, next one up. What is the most underrated animal in this planet? Like, you walk around and people just ignore this animal, but it's actually kind of a baller.
It's kind of a baller.
I think squirrels get a bad rap. I think
What?
they're I
Squirrels
think they're
suck. I hate
well,
squirrels.
see? That's what I'm
I
talking
I
about.
have
You just don't
4,000 in
appreciate
my
them.
yard
Yeah,
every
you
day.
don't
They live
appreciate them.
under
That's a you
this.
problem. You just don't appreciate them.
I
That's a you
don't.
problem.
I
So I'm
don't.
saying. That's literally what I'm saying. I think they get a
I'm
bad
gonna
rap. I
start
think they're
pew
cool.
pewing them in
I
my
think they're
yard.
yeah, you should be eating them. Absolutely. They're
They're
incredible.
delicious,
But, like,
but also I
they
hate them.
are they're if you really look at them and you start
Mhm.
paying attention to them, I think they look super cool. I
Yeah,
think that the fact that they can crawl up a tree backwards, upside down is
I mean, it's pretty
badass,
rad.
and they are able to leap from, like, house to fire line to tree with, like, nothing under them, and it's, like, a non-issue. It's like you jumping up over a curb. Like, they get a bad rap. They're fast as shit.
Pew.
They're cool. I think they're great. I love them, and I like that they yell at you, and I like that they're, like, loyalists. Like,
You
when you're hunting and you're out here and you're, like you think you're being secretive, you know what'll happen and you know your spot's burned for the day? When a
squirrel.
squirrel comes up next to you and goes and you're like, "Son of a bitch, shut up." And he's just screaming like, "Hey, guys hunting here. Don't come over here." Like, they're tattletales, but they're loyal to their buds. Have appreciation for a squirrel.
'Cause they're you in the wild.
Hundy.
That's
Hunted.
you.
Hunted.
That's your spirit animal. Your Patronus is a squirrel.
100%. If I came out as a fox squirrel, I'd be like, "Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh,
See,
rabbits.
this is
Yes.
good." Okay, we got someone else who likes a rodent. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, so I'll go opposite rodents. You know who gets a bad rap? Maybe not always underrated, but
Jeffs.
mostly
All
underrated.
the Jeffs.
Every Jeff on this planet.
Every friggin' Jeff I've ever seen.
No, I was
Horrible
gonna
rap.
like no northern pike. Like pike get a bad
Good
rap.
call.
Nobody
That
wants to catch them.
why? Why is that? Why aren't
People
people
get mad when they catch them. Well, they get mad because they lose lures or they didn't catch a bass that they'd rather have caught. But I mean, come on, guys. Like northern pike are freaking slime dart torpedo, just toothy critter, just crazy piss and vinegar kind of deals.
fighters
Love them, love them.
just
They get a bad
freight
rap.
trains with teeth?
Yeah, and like I've lost lures to them. I've almost lost fingers to them, and like I still love them. I still think they're totally underrated. They need to be shown more love.
Every time I have a skirt that just gets absolutely obliterated and I pull it out and it's because of a pike battle, I'm like, "This is great. This is
Worth it.
fantastic."
Worth it. Shred that silicone. I don't care. See what happens.
Every time.
Exactly. I love it. All right. Are we good
You
on
got another
Solo
one?
Thunder? You want another one?
Sure.
You're on a massive delay.
No, we're good.
so-
I had another one I want to talk about, but that's fine. We don't need it. We can save it. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
good.
right. I know. It's horrible. Feather Outdoor says, what did I call them? Meat missiles? It was meat missile.
The meat missile. That was my favorite. I was like, I don't think we could say that on YouTube. You need to watch it, guy. These meat missiles shooting out the weeds at your spinner bait. Watch out. It's a meat missile. And on that note, I think we wrap it for
It's a
tonight.
meat missile.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again on another Wednesday. We will be back again next week, same time, same place. And we will have a fun bracket for you all about fish movies or movies with fish, depending on how we end up phrasing that thing. So if you think of any in the meantime, just DM us on the instant grams and we will have a good time with that. Thank you guys again for being here and stay tuned for news on the charity drive. It'll be coming up very soon. We'll give you all the details on the guests and we'll be donating to Autism Anglers. All right. We'll catch you next Wednesday. Chaz, take us out.